Hey, gamer friends, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Josiah,
and
we are ready to roll. We are talking today about the next game in our We're Late to the Party series.
Yeah, this is our series that we decided to do based on older games that have stood the test of time, I guess you would say.
That we haven't played yet.
That we haven't played. And today is Viticulture.
A good one. This one is high on a lot of people's lists.
It is. It was published originally in 2013.
Yep.
But this was the Essential Edition, which came out in 2015, so a couple years later.
It is a Stonemaier game designed by Jamie Stegmaier and Alan Stone.
And it's about making wine.
It is about making wine, which we don't know much of anything about.
I know. In fact, the bottle of wine in our thumbnail is what we used to cook with because we are not drinkers.
No, we don't drink.
I did enjoy this game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
So the premise of the game is all about making wine in a vineyard. And so you have to grow grapes. You have to, and to do that, you have to put them in your field.
Yes, you have to plant them in your fields.
Yes.
And then you can harvest the grapes. And then you put them in your crushers.
Yeah, crush pads.
Crush pads. Mm-hmm. And then you can turn those into wine.
Right.
Wine bottles.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about this is it happens over season. So they actually have you like planting your vineyard
in the spring.
In the summer. You plant it in the summer.
In the summer.
Yeah, and then you harvest it in the winter season.
Yeah, so there's really two.
Yes, they have spring and fall, but they're like really short seasons. Yeah. They're like in fall you draw a card or something that. So it's not like,
And the spring is when you choose the order.
Yes, you choose the turn order.
The turn order. That's right. That's right.
Some sort of resource. And so I don't know. I really thought everything about it kind of made sense to me. I thought it did a really good job of that.
No, it does. It does a great job of that. And you have to have certain structures to be able to plant the vines.
Right.
The grapes.
Yeah, so some vines need trellises, and so you would have to have a trellis or you have to have irrigation. Which totally makes sense.
Right.
And we have a large garden here at our house, and there are things that you have to have a trellis for, and there are things that you have to have really good irrigation for, so it totally made sense.
It does. Yeah, this is in a line of games that we've come across that are about making things, like the distilled, making alcohol, fromage, making cheese, this making wine. They're great games. I love them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They've been good games.
One of the things that I really enjoyed about the game is when you draw cards in the summer and the winter, they are helpers. They are people that are helping you do things, get bonuses or make things better. Like I had it wasn't the marketer, but it was somebody who like helped promote or something like that.
Right.
And it gave me like a bonus in certain parts of the action series. And I really like that they have people who like come to your vineyard and are helping you in the process of selling or making or things like that. And I just thought that was really cool.
Yes. And it's such a classic worker placement. So like if I go to a certain space, you can't go to that space. And I've noticed that a lot of worker placement games don't really do that anymore. I'm not sure if there's like a trend away from that, or maybe we just haven't played games where it's like that. But this one was one where like if I went there, you couldn't go there. But they did have that grande worker. So like if you really needed to do something, you kind of had to save that worker back.
You only get one of those.
Right. And then you could do that action as well. And so that was interesting to me.
Yeah. So there was like a race almost to the spot that you need. Like that's actually how our last game we played of this, how it ended is I took a risk by not going to the two places that I really needed to win the game because I was trying to set it up, and you went to both of those places before I could get to them.
Yes.
And so my plan completely fell apart.
Yes. And then I ended up winning.
Yeah.
And like shooting up the score track.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a really interesting mechanism that I really like.
Yes. Yeah. I like the seasons. I like that there you only get a few workers to start the game, and then you have a way to hire additional workers. You have to pay money and you have to wait for that worker because they have to be trained. That's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I just thought it had a lot of really good classic elements of worker placement.
Yeah, and everything is very logical and makes sense and tracks with how the process would work. Like they did a great job of that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in these older games, I feel like people always talk about how, oh, you could put anything in that theme and it would be the same. And I just feel like this is one that it just makes sense. The wine thing just makes sense. And so I don't know. I liked it.
I liked it a lot too. What was your first impression?
So my first impression was, honestly, it sounded more complicated when I read the rule book than it actually was when we played the game.
Yeah.
And I could tell once I actually took all the components out and looked at the game board and stuff that I could tell, like, oh, okay, it's not near as complicated as what I'm thinking in my head it's going to be.
Yeah.
And so everything was very intuitive. I didn't feel like anything was overly complicated. I still thought there were a lot of really interesting decisions. And so overall, I thought it was a great game. What about you?
A great game. Okay.
Yeah. So are we giving our rankings yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So I ranked it at an A.
Okay. My first impression was that when I saw the game, we had everything set up and ready to go. This is a game that maybe 2 years ago, I would have automatically said, I'm not going to like this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've grown as a gamer, and so I don't go into games like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to, have an open mind, have fun. And it's like any of the other in this line of like making beer, making cheese. Like I was like, the theme is like, okay, it's whatever. But I was very pleasantly surprised at how much fun I had at the game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually rated it a B.
Mm-hmm.
But what did I say?
You said, give me more plays or some time to think about it.
And it's going to go to an A.
And it's going to go to an A.
Yeah, I said, give me 2 more plays of this, and I bet you it's an A for me. Because I usually, on a game like a Euro game like this, I need a few plays to really kind of wrap my head around it.
Right.
And then I have a lot more fun with the games. And this is definitely one of them. But I think that it actually is ahead of where a lot of other Euro games start for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot more fun with this than I expected to. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it was already on the edge. It was like a B plus for me, A minus in that range. Like, so I know this is going to be an A game for me for sure.
This is a classic game for a reason because people have liked it for a very long time. Yeah. It has stood the test of time and there's good reason for it.
Yeah. Cause you can tell when you play it, it's just a solid game.
That's right.
It's like, there aren't really many, if any, holes in the game or things that kind of pull the game down.
Right.
In fact, I'm struggling to think of any.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, it may be if we played it at a really high player count because it says 1 to 6.
Yeah, 1 to 6.
And I cannot imagine playing this at 6 player. Like that doesn't seem like that would be as much fun.
Yeah, it's
so maybe at a higher player count, it needs some help there.
It could, yeah. I mean, we'd have to play it at that count to see. Yeah. But again, we talked about this in a previous video. But if you had 6 players who all knew how to play the game really well.
Yes, that's true.
And didn't struggle with AP at all. Mm-hmm. It may be just fine.
Absolutely,
it may
that's
work,
true.
It may work great. But if you have, 4 of the 6 people who don't know how to play the game, it might take too long. It might drag out a lot.
Yes.
But yeah,
I feel like Stonemaier Games, they try and make Euro games for a little bit bigger gaming groups. So that seems like a lot of their games go up to 5 players, and of course this one goes up to 6. So I think they try and make those Euros that go up to a little bit higher player count.
Yeah, but I don't think I would prefer this at 5 or 6.
Right, I don't think so either. I mean, I'm just guessing. Obviously, I doubt it.
I would think 4 probably would be the max that I would enjoy this at.
Yes. And since we just played it at 2 player, we only got to use like the first worker placement spot of each place. And when you play with I think it's 3 or 4 player game, you get to open up that second slot, which gives you an extra resource. So the first person to play on that worker placement spot gets that extra resource. And so that would be a little bit more interesting. Yeah. I kind of am wanting to see what that would be like to play with like 3 or 4 players and see if that changes the game at all.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. So you ended with a B?
I ended with a B plus.
A B plus. You think it might go to an A?
I'm positive it's going to an A.
You just can't quite rank it that.
I can't put it there right now, but it probably in the next play or two, it's going to be an A game.
Got it.
I already know. It's too good of a game. Mm-hmm. I had too much fun just right off the bat, and it's just really solid and makes a lot of sense, and it's really good.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.
Yeah, and tell us down below in the comments what you would rate this game. We definitely would love to hear about it.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye.